Have you ever found yourself at the very edge, convinced that one more step would send you plummeting into an abyss of defeat? That moment, right there, when every fiber of your being screams to just give up. What if I told you that very moment is often precisely when a significant change, a breakthrough, is waiting just around the corner? It's a lesson Ravi, a young potter, learned in the crucible of his own despair. Ravi lived for the feel of clay between his fingers, the rhythmic hum of the wheel, and the transformative heat of the kiln. His dream wasn't just to make pots, it was to craft vessels of beauty and utility, each telling a silent story. He was hardworking, dedicated, and possessed a quiet passion that burned brighter than any flame in his kiln. Yet, for a full year, his dream seemed to mock him. Every batch of pots, meticulously shaped and carefully fired, emerged from the kiln cracked, warped, or utterly shattered. Months turned into a year, and Ravi had sold nothing. The villagers, once admiring of his youthful ambition, now exchanged pitying glances and hushed whispers. Poor Ravi, they'd sigh. He works so hard. But it's just not meant to be. His own mother, her eyes heavy with worry, gently urged him to consider another path. "My son," she'd plead, "there are other ways to earn a living. Perhaps farming, like your father." But Ravi couldn't bring himself to abandon his craft. Each failure chipped away at his spirit, leaving him hollowed out and exhausted, yet a stubborn ember of hope flickered within him. One evening, staring at a pile of broken shards that represented a year of his life, a profound weariness settled over him. He felt the pull of surrender, the sweet relief of giving up. But then, a quiet defiance stirred. One more try, he thought. Just one more asterisk. He would gather clay one last time, shape one final batch of pots, and if they too failed, then he would concede defeat. This wasn't hope. Not exactly. It was the desperate gamble of a man with nothing left to lose. With a heavy heart but a renewed sense of purpose, Ravi set out. He walked for miles, searching for a new source of clay, something different from the patch that had betrayed him so many times. Finally, tucked away by a winding river bend, he discovered a small, untouched vein of rich, dark earth. It felt different, promising. He dug tirelessly, bringing back basket after basket, his hands raw but his spirit momentarily lifted. Back in his workshop, he kneaded the new clay, molding it with a focus he hadn't felt in months. He crafted a dozen pots, each a testament to his enduring skill, each a silent prayer. He fired them with meticulous care, the kiln glowing like a beacon in the night. Exhausted, he fell asleep, dreaming of perfect, unblemished vessels. But fate, it seemed, had one more cruel twist in store. Overnight, a ferocious storm descended. Rain lashed down, winds howled, and a sudden violent gust ripped through his fragile workshop, toppling shelves and sending his newly fired pots crashing to the ground. When the morning light broke through the wreckage, Ravi surveyed the devastation. Broken pieces lay everywhere, fragments of his last hope. Amidst the chaos, only one pot stood intact, perfectly formed, a solitary survivor. He picked it up, feeling its smooth, cool surface, then sank to his knees. This was it. This was the end. He felt utterly, completely broken. The thought of giving up wasn't just an option anymore. It felt like an unavoidable truth. Just as the last vestiges of his resolve threatened to crumble, an old traveler, his face weathered like ancient parchment, appeared at the entrance of the ruined workshop. He had sought shelter from the storm and had witnessed Ravi's despair. The old man sat beside him, his gaze kind. "Son," he said, his voice a gentle rumble, "I've seen many storms, both in the sky and in the hearts of men. I once lost my entire harvest to a plague, year after year, until I almost gave up farming altogether. But then an old woman told me something that changed everything." The traveler paused, looking at the single, perfect pot in Ravi's hand. She said, "The seed doesn't know it's failing when it struggles to break through hard earth. It's just growing." And she told me this, which I've carried ever since. You only fail when you stop trying. Your struggle is not a sign of failure. It's a sign that you are still fighting. That single pot, he gestured, is proof of your enduring spirit. It means you haven't stopped yet. The old man's words were a balm to Ravi's shattered soul, a spark igniting the dying embers of his hope. He looked at the single pot, not as a symbol of loss, but as a beacon of possibility. He thanked the traveler, who smiled and continued on his journey. With newfound courage, Ravi cleaned the pot, polished it until it gleamed, and took it to the bustling town market. He set it down on a humble cloth, half expecting it to remain unnoticed. But within minutes, a merchant, impressed by its exquisite craftsmanship, bought it. That one sale, that single perfect pot, was the turning point. The merchant returned for more, and though Ravi had no more to sell immediately, the demand was there. He worked tirelessly, drawing on the strength he didn't know he possessed, crafting more pots from the good clay, each one finding a buyer. Slowly, steadily, his reputation grew. Years passed, and Ravi, the potter who almost gave up, became the proud owner of a thriving pottery store, renowned for the quality and artistry of his work. His journey taught him a profound truth. Success often hides just beyond the veil of failure, waiting for those who refuse to surrender. Life's greatest tests are not meant to break us, but to build our strength, to refine our spirit, and to remind us that as long as we keep trying, we can never truly fail.